What's up, y'all? I'm Ryan Collins, and this is Redemption Road, a life's healing journey. And today I have the awesome opportunity of sitting down with my very good friend. This man he needs no introduction, but I'm going to give it to him anyways. This is Andre DJ Shrek. He is a renowned DJ and chef, but someone that I have come to know as a man that gives back and someone that loves people and has overcome incredible adversity in his life. And I'm honored to share this time with you, my friend. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's awesome to have you, brother. We've been through some things together, right? It's from the work we do in the community, and just have gotten to know each other real well through um, what we do at Be the Light Ministries. Andre has come out and supported us, whether it's in the desert when we're doing haircuts and cooked up. Man, I don't know how many pounds of meat did you cook up that day. It was
It was like 50 to 60 pounds.
he smoked 50, and this was a day's notice that I gave him. He knows in working with me sometimes.
Oh, don't forget to leave out the part it was frozen. Frozen meat that I had to defrost.
So I called Andre the day before an event, and I said, "Hey, that I got a bunch of meat donated from Teen Challenge. Shout out to Teen Challenge. We love the guys over there, Clayton and the guys." I said we had a bunch of meat donated for this event tomorrow, and I need your help. He said, "Bro, you know I got you." That's usually his answer. And I show up to him and his then fiance Hilda with the blocks of
Yes, blocks of
frozen
frozen
meat.
meat.
But that just goes to show his heart. You know, he has his own life and his own businesses. Like I said, he's a chef and a DJ here in Tucson, Arizona, and just to just to know I have a partner like that says, you know what, bro, because it's you, I'll help figure it out. And he got the meat cooked. It was amazing. We had brisket and pulled pork, and man, it was awesome, bro. And we were able to bless the folks out in 100 acres here in Tucson. It's a unhoused community that was very prevalent. So let's jump into this, bro. I know many people know you as Andre DJ Shrek, as Andre's Five-Star Catering, right?
Yes.
That's the man, the myth, the legend that you have become, that you have made the name for yourself. But here on Redemption Road, I like to dive a little deeper, and I like to go into obviously what has built the man before me today. And I like to start what I believe and I feel all of our adult um, characteristics, all the traits we have as an adult, the traumas, the pain, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as they say, right? It stems from somewhere. And I've learned in my own recovery, my own therapy, my own healing journey is a lot of it stems from our childhood, and we just don't. Our subconscious will kick that to the back, and our delayed memory won't exactly recall things. So I like to give people a glimpse into who you were before being Andre DJ Shrek and Andre's Five-Star Catering. So let's go back to your childhood. What was it like growing up in your household?
It was very unstable. It was very chaotic. Um, you didn't know when you were going to eat. You didn't know if the lights would be on, if the water would be on. You didn't know what the day to day was going to be. You didn't know if my dad was going to be drunk or not drunk. You
Mm.
didn't know if he and my mom were going to fight. I saw a lot of domestic violence, so I didn't know what today was going to be like.
So so essentially every day was a toss up in the home as far as just not knowing what kind of energy or mood or vibe would be in the household.
Yes, that's true. The only time I knew it was going to be stable if someone came over and we played the good life, everything's
Uh,
perfect life. So I knew if people came over or we had our family visiting, then everything was going to be perfect because they had to put on a front
Put
that
on.
everything was perfect.
Yeah, that's it's so many times I've seen in my own life and friends that I grew up with that people would put on that smile now, cry later type, facade, that ambiance of, oh, everything is great. I want to touch base because I know you said, and I can't personally take the viewers on a ride like you can. So you're saying that there was no food in the home at times. There was lights on, lights off, maybe. So just that lack of structure. What do you think? And having to see, you did mention domestic violence. Was it perpetrated from dad to mom?
Yeah, dad to mom all the time. Like, I don't think I can. remember a time it didn't happen. Like it was constant.
So that was okay. So that's what you became familiar with.
Yes.
Is that was your normality was these situations and these circumstances. And what age was this?
As far back as I can remember, I always remember my dad hitting my mom. Like I don't remember a time where he didn't.
Okay, so your whole childhood.
My whole
And
childhood.
how long did mom and dad stay together?
Like 20 years.
Okay, so they split up when you were how old?
When I was about 21.
Okay, okay, so your whole life they were together as far as until your adult life.
Yes.
Okay, so then that's a traumatic experience to say the least, right? And so many times I feel like with the condition of the world, and especially for men, it is be a man, man up, right? Just get over it, and you became having to normalize yourself with what is not normal, right? It's not normal for a man to hit a woman, for a man to hit a man, for a woman to hit a woman, right? Physical violence isn't normal, right? That's obviously a lack of someone's emotional control and their own demons that they're facing, that, as I would consider them. So how did that frame your your outlook?
Um,
Did that?
I still, it made me realize that a man should never hit a woman, and I never want to be like that.
Amen. Okay, that's what I was getting at because I know, um, so often said it's there, and people say that's what they say. Well, who is they? But that we're a product of our environment, right? Or an animal of what we grew up in, and I debate that, and I tell people no, that's not the case because mindset can change. You just said I knew I didn't want to be that man. I knew I didn't want to have to put onto my children those pains and those traumas, and onto my wife or to my woman to be abusive, right? So that's it's a beautiful thing when the mind can shift and you can say I'm not gonna be, because so often I see people follow in the footsteps of those that had raised them, right? So father beats woman, wife, mom, then the son becomes transitionally a beater too, right? He hits and abuses his wife because that's what he became normalized seeing. So that's I love the fact that you didn't have that outlook on it, that that's what you were gonna do.
But I
Um,
do want to say it's not easy. Like it took training, and it took patience, because there was times where I was in situations and it pushed me, and I was like, I have to stop myself. I have to sit back. I have to walk away, and I have to know that I can't do this.
Man, and let's keep it real because on Redemption Road we keep it raw, we keep it real. I am also not the type of man. I thank God I didn't see my mother. That's not one of the trials I faced um, in life. But I'm not a man to hit women. I was raised. My father taught us you don't hit your sister. If you and your brother get into it, that's one thing. But you don't put your hands on your sister. You don't put your hands on a woman. But let's keep it real. Let's keep it funky and let's keep it raw. There's times where you feel pushed, right? Where I've had women that have hit on me, punched on me, hit me with things and situations that it's like, man, my flesh wants to, right? You want to hit me like a man. I'm gonna, but thank God I have that.
That's exactly how I feel. Because a lot of women knew. Because I would tell women like, I'm never gonna put my hands on you. I'm never gonna hurt you, and they would know that, and they would try to push me
Yep.
to get me to do it. And that's what hurt me even more, is because it's like I don't want to put my hands on you. I don't want to hurt you. Why are you putting your hands on me? Why are you pushing me to try to get me to get violent when I don't want to be violent?
See, that's a shout out to all the men out there. You can keep your composure, right? You gotta. It sounds so stupid at times. I tell people you gotta breathe. You gotta count backwards from 100. You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta walk away. But so shout out to the men that have kept it 100, kept it a buck by not putting their hands on a woman. But women, y'all need to understand, we are we are men, right? So when you push us to it, and I'm not condoning, never in my life will I or have I condoned uh, physical violence and especially domestic violence, man to woman, woman to man. But I just encourage y'all women to really stop and put yourself in a like a pause moment instead of pushing these men. I'm not saying it's your fault, it's his fault. It takes two to tango, right? So instead of pushing these men, let's take a break. Let's take a moment to ourselves to regather and regroup, because I see it so often where people I know are in prison and in jail because of this situation. So that's just a real quick little excerpt. Is let's keep our hands to ourselves, y'all. And let's not push each other to violence. Okay, we don't want that. We want love. We want peace. We want happiness.
And another okay, and
Yeah,
another
throw
reason
it in there.
and another reason why I never want to be violent or anything is because I'm a 6'5", 300-pound black man. No matter what situation
Just go ahead, preach. Let me
the
hear
cops
this.
show up, I'm going to jail. There's no, oh, she hit me, I was fighting back or anything. So I always knew that being a 6'5", 300-pound black man, I could never get in any of those situations because I'm never going to win. I'm going to lose every single time because they're not going to look at me and see a little woman and be like, oh, she put her hands on you and she hurt
Nope.
you. It's never going to happen.
No, no, sir. No,
Never.
sir. Every time you are gonna go to jail.
Yep.
And people, the uh, the unrealists of the world say, "Well, that doesn't matter." Yes, it does. It matters that you are
100%.
a gigantic of a you're a huge man. I'm a big guy, and you make me feel small, right? So the cops see that. What is I don't care unless the woman has a knife or a gun. Like, what could she really do to you? You're obviously can defend yourself, and then it does become sometimes a race thing, right? If we're keeping it real and we're being honest, it becomes race. I know I get profiled because there's been situations in my life where the law has shown up, and when I was completely innocent of being the one to cause a disturbance, but because I have tattoos, because I'm a big dude, because I have a certain look about me, it was a profiling, right? And I have cop friends who who tell me the truth. There's profiling. That's part of their job. Part of being a cop is profiling, right? They have to
Yep.
try to figure in their own algorithm for people. All right, so growing up in that, at what age did you come back? What age did you come to yourself and say, "Man, I got to get out of this mess that I know as my familial status, my familial upbringing"?
I left out of my house when I was 17. What happened was I finally got tired of my dad beating on my mom, and I told my mom because I saw them get into a big argument, fight. My dad bruised her, put her in the hospital, and I told her it's either him or me, and she chose him. So I said, I will never, ever ask you for nothing, come back to you for anything, or want anything. I'm going to prove to you and show you guys that I can do this on my own. And I will never be like that. So I left at 17.
Man, real quick, as I have to dive into this after hearing that right there. What was your emotional thought process when because I've been in a similar situation, so I know what I felt, but I can't dare say that's what you felt just because I felt that. But when you went to mom and me, I was a mama's boy. I was a shy kid. I was a mama's boy. I literally was the kid that would hide between my mom's legs and hold on to her legs. And when mom told you, or when you told mom the ultimatum is me, your son, or dad who is mistreating you in so many ways, and she chose dad, how did that make you feel?
I would say, let's take a step back. Um, every time my mom would get, because my name's Andre,
Mm-hmm.
my dad's name is Andre.
Mm.
So after she would get beat, she would beat me because she would tell me, you're going to be like your dad. You look like your dad. I don't want you acting like your dad. So every time she would take the violence that she couldn't take out on my dad, she would take out on me because I'm Andre. I look like him. She didn't want me to. So I had to grow up the whole time with that. And then another thing was she always used religion, and she would say that I swear to God, I swear to God, I swear to God, I'm not gonna go back to him. I'm gonna leave him. We're gonna get out of this situation. We're gonna, and it never happened. So it kind of for a minute turned me away from God because I'm like, you keep swearing to God and God's going to come and help us and he's going to save us. And you promised me to God that we're going to get out of this situation. There's going to be none of this stuff and it would never happen.
Man,
Never.
I was just reading it last night, and I'm not going to quote it, but I believe it's in Peter where it says, "Swear unto nothing." Right? Swear unto to nothing, not to God, not to. I swear on my children. Right? That's biblical. For all those who care or don't care. Uh, Sorry, I'm over here making distractions. For all those who do or don't care, it's one of those things. So when mom would, right, I grew up and I was that guy. Oh, I swear to God I didn't do it, Dad. I swear it on it. Every time I was lying, and I thank God that He forgives me for my ignorance and my blasphemy at times of the power of God. So when mom would take these frustrations, these angers, these hurts, these pains out on you, you would in turn get whooped. I'm sure.
Yes.
Um, so you're all these years you're taking some whoopings, um, un whoopings that you didn't have coming to you, right? They weren't deserved. It wasn't like you did something bad at school and you were, because I'm a firm believer if you spare the rod, you'll spoil the child, right? But these weren't, oh, Andre got in trouble at school today, so he's getting whooped. These were, I got whooped by dad, so now you're getting whooped.
Yes. It was more like that. Like, I'm a kid. So yeah, I did
Of
things.
course, of course.
But it would be after she got into a fight or argument with him, then she would come to me and tell me, "You're just like your dad. You look like your dad. You act like your dad," and she would take it out on me.
Man, I want to thank you for bringing that up because something I've learned in my own life is, again, I just said it, who's they? When people say, well, that's what they say, or that's what they've said, right? Who are they? Who is the source? And so many times in our lives, and this goes out to each and every one of you as much as it goes out to myself and to Andre, is there's so many times in our life that people have spoken. What do you think they call a word? You spell out a word, right? What is it when I'm talking to you? When there's warlocks and witches and the people of this craziness that they speak a spell, right? So people can cast a spell on you, or what they are trying to cast onto your life by saying you're just like your father. You're going to be nothing more than him. You're going to be just like him. You look like him. You act like him. You're going to be just like him. And we adopt and inherit those things. Some of us, you were courageous enough to be able to step out of that title, that label she was giving you. But I know so many of us have adopted some of these titles and some of these labels. So I just want to encourage folks, if you've had a type of upbringing where life wasn't spoken into you, I know all about it. If you were spoken maliciously about in your childhood, I know a lot of parents, because they don't have it, because they're broken, they cast off their brokenness onto their children, and that's, and I've done that in my own parenting, and I'm still paying to recover from it. But in that, don't accept those things that people, those labels that people have put on you. Don't adopt them. Don't inherit them. Don't say, oh, you know what, my mom was right, I'm going to be just like my father. No, I rebuke those things. I stand against those things because I am not going to be the mistakes of my parent. So I just want to, or whoever else may have tried to put it on you. So that's just a quick little side note for those things that have been cast on your life that are not for you. Don't accept them. Don't inherit them. Cast them off. All right. So that's obviously what you did. And that's the only reason I spoke that was because that's what you did. Is you didn't accept. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna be a woman beater. I'm just gonna be an alcoholic, or I'm not sure if Dad got into drugs, but I'm gonna
Oh,
be
definitely drugs.
okay. So that's where a lot of what I call his demons that he was facing. Excuse me here. So that's it's a beautiful thing that you were able to be. Like I said, it's courageous because it's so easy to fall into that. Well, because that's all you knew. You didn't see um, what some would call normal. There's no normal, right? Everybody's life is different and chaotic in its own right. But it's just it's a beautiful thing to see that you adopted the mindset that I'm not gonna be like you because I've seen so much pain that you've caused, and I don't want to be that man. So that's beautiful, bro. And so you mentioned 17, you left home, and I myself left home at a earlier age than most, due to my own faults. For me, it was my own ignorant choices. I was a hellion, and my dad gave me the swift boot literally in my cheeks out the door, and said, "Go figure it out, then big guy, tough guy. Like you want to be doing this X, Y, and Z in my house, and dope and all this other stuff, selling, and no, get out of my house." So, what was your how your mindset had to shift from now I'm underneath my parents' roof and things are provided to I've got to provide, right? At 17, did you couch surf? Did you
A lot of couch surfing, a lot of homelessness, sleeping in a park, sleeping in cars. Just trying to survive because, like I said, I told myself I would never ask my parents for help. So I would struggle, but they would never know because I never wanted them to think that I needed them ever again because my mom chose my dad. So I want to let them know that I don't need you and I'm going to make it on my own. So I would couch search. I would sleep in the park. I would sleep in friends' cars. I would do anything just so I can keep surviving.
man? And that's it's a tough life. Even from I know because I've done it, and it's living out of a bag and what little possessions you have. You're going from place to place to place, and it's very nomadic. Very you're kind of tossed to and fro. You got to go wherever you can go. And what during that time, what would you say the emotional battles that you were carrying um, from the pain, the trauma, what I can imagine would feel like abandonment or rejection from mom, one of the two. I mean, that's what I would say I would feel if it, when because I know it happened to me, and so I felt rejected and abandoned by the one person that was supposed to um, love me in that time. So, what was like your emotional mindset or your emotional battles at this time that you're now out on your own? You've had to try to decipher or go through in your head all of these traumas and what made you make that move. So now, where were you at emotionally?
Emotionally, I was on survival mode.
Uh,
And I have to say, the women that I dated back then, I apologize for because I used them because I need a place to stay. So I would tell them I love them, be with them, just so I had somewhere to be.
to rest your head,
So somewhere to rest my head, somewhere to do. And it wasn't because like I feel bad. It wasn't like I was in love.
of
It was
course.
just it was a hustle because I was like, I'm tired of sleeping on someone's couch. I'm tired of sleeping in the park. I'm tired of not having food or money. So it's kind of hard to keep a job when you're couch surfing and you don't know where you're going to go the next day. So it's
Address
kind of
and all
hard.
those, yeah. And that's it's survival, and I can commend you for apologizing. Hopefully, if any of those women happen to watch, they'll know that you're apologizing because you were young and just you had to survive. So way to go on asking for forgiveness. He asked y'all for forgiveness if you saw that. And so you're 17. You've done that. You've now started to live your life into your what most would call adulthood. Did you ever feel and how long was this process of the bouncing around until you kind of got stable?
You want the honest answer?
Yes.
It probably took me till my age now to be stable.
Isn't that crazy? I tell people sometimes I'm still learning.
It really, really, I never stopped because I never felt safe somewhere,
uh,
and I never felt like I didn't have to be on my toes, and I always felt like I have to look for the next thing or I have to be prepared for something to happen because I never thought nothing good was going to happen. Like if something's going good, I always thought it's going to eventually turn bad.
right.
So I would always stay on my toes and always be ready to jump, to move, to go to the next person, go to the next thing because I never knew when it was going to be stable.
I could I can relate to that. I tell people I've done some therapy obviously, but I've done a lot of self therapy. Just my reflection time with God and my life and I'm at the same point. Crazy enough, my childhood, I moved around from across the country, from here to Pittsburgh, back and forth, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Tucson. Um, that I learned in my own therapy with self was like I never had a stable place. I never had a. My friends like, this is where I grew up. My wife, lived in the same house her whole life. I, I don't. Her parents still live there, right? Like I never had that stable place to call home, and that affects us whether we realize it or not in our in our daily lives, right? Having that, always having to expect yourself to maybe have to leave or face the next rejection or face the next disappointment or abandonment keeps you on your toes, like you said. And I know the viewers can see my boy's only got 5. You feel me? So when he says he's on his toes, that means that he's really putting in overtime. And I say that because you can't hear it, but it's knocking. I got the same leg actually we're missing, which is crazy enough how the Lord brought us together. I always tell him, man, let me in the DJ scene with you, bruh, because then we'll be the two-man, two-legged DJ group. You know what I'm saying? The only DJ group in Tucson or maybe anywhere else in the world that 2 men together, they have 2 legs. You know what I'm saying? But we're still twice the men. I always tell people that, right? So shout out to my boy. We're gonna get into that. With okay, so in that time, which is feels like forever, right? From 17 when you left your parents, I left my dad's house at right at 16, and what are you 40? 30,
43.
43. I'm about to be 40 this year, and all that time spent just running and running. One thing, me with my life choices with drug dealing and drug using, drug dealing and then drug using, um, was part of the running, right? It was trying to escape that just everlasting chaos that I felt in my own life. And what did you ever feel in that time frame of all those years of just bouncing around and not knowing where you fit in? Did you ever feel hopeless? Did you ever feel like, man, what's the point?
All the time. But I think the only thing that saved me was I had a daughter.
Mm.
If I didn't have my daughter, I'd probably, to be honest with you, I would have been on drugs maybe, would have been an alcoholic, would have been in jail. I had a daughter, and because the way my dad treated my sisters, he was never good to my sisters.
Well, he wasn't good to their mother, so
No.
how it's a trait.
So I always told myself, and my kid's mother will tell you this, I told her if it was not a girl, I was not going to stick around. Because my whole mentality was I want a daughter, and I want a daughter, and that was the only thing that was going to change me. And God blessed me with my daughter, and that's what made me change and want to be a better man than my dad for sure. Because I told him I'm never going to treat my daughter like you treated your daughters.
Mm.
So if it wasn't for my daughter, don't know where I would be.
Amen. And how old were you when you had her?
20, 21.
Amen. That's your first child?
Yeah, it was my first one.
Same age for me. Okay. So, of course, I like to keep it real. You know me well. I tell people if you're gonna tell me you ain't never felt helpless, you're lying to yourself. You're not even lying to me because you I already see through it, right? I know anybody who's faced some life challenges has felt hopeless and felt like, man, I don't know where to turn. And did would you say I hear you and I tell me I always make this disclaimer because I'm real and I tell people just because I have a faith, right, my faith is in God in the heavens above, right, the creator of the universe, that's my faith, doesn't mean that I ever come off or want to be that guy that's just I want real people to watch real stories. And so we don't persuade, we don't look to I love people no matter where you're at, no matter what you believe in, but we all have faith. One thing I was explaining to somebody the other day, if you get in your car, people say, oh, I'm not a man of faith. Well, yes you are. Or I'm not a woman of faith. Let me tell you how you are. You walk into your house and you flip your light switch and you have faith those lights are going to turn on. You go to get in your car and you take the key or the key fob and you press the button. You have faith that your car. So we all have faith. We just have sometimes displaced faith, right? So did faith play a role in your purpose for your healing journey?
At first, it did not. At first, I turned away because I'm a religious person too. But when growing up, we would go to church every Sunday no matter what. So in my house, it could be chaos. It could be chaos. But every Sunday
You're going
morning,
to church.
she would put us on the church bus, and we would go to church. And it kind of turned me away from God because I'm like, I'm going to church. I'm trying to be a good person. I'm following the Bible. My mom's preaching that we need to have God and all this in our life. But when I get back home, I'm living in
I
hell.
don't see no God.
Yes. So I lost faith for a little bit because I was like, what? Where's God? Like I've been through all this shit in this hell, and where's God?
Yeah, I mean that's understandable. All right. Because I can only imagine, right? And this story. I always tell people that everyone has a story, and someone needs to hear yours. I know friends of mine that this story resonate. Your story, right, is different from mine, different from yours, different than all the viewers watching. Um, I know for other friends of mine that have had this similar upbringing that just might need to hear what encouragement you have or what helped you get through these things and what kept you pushing forward. So it's understandable, and I tell people so often that we got upset with God, right? Now let's just now as you're older and you're more mature, I just want to remind folks because I hear this so often. Well, I'm mad at God because of my upbringing, or I'm mad at God because my nana passed away, or I'm mad at God because a sibling or something, a tragedy has happened, and we displace our anger. Our anger should be at, if we believe in good, we have to believe in evil, right? So our anger for certain things, dad's alcoholism, dad's outfit, his outburst, and his way of acting, right? That's ways of the enemy, as I know it today. Um, but it's understandable that you being raised in a religious house home, and I do the air quotations, guys, because I tell people I'm not a religious man. I am a spiritual man. Religion to me is the man-made construct on what God has placed for spirituality, um, and that's to me is a religious thing. Your father was and your mother were going to church and putting on the religious show, not to in any way put it down, but when they go home, cursing each other out, hurting on each other, hitting each other. Dad hitting on mom, mistreating his own children. That's that to me is not the ways of God, right? And now you know
Right.
it in your wisdom and your maturity. So, how did you get over, or what, or who helped propel you through that anger with God and that separation that you felt you had because of your life circumstances?
I would say one of my well, he was my best man at my wedding.
Okay.
My friend Greg.
Uh huh.
He came from growing up in the hood, doing stuff. He was selling drugs and everything, and he found God again, and he started going to church. And the church I go to is Agape, and our pastor used to sell drugs.
Shout out to Agape. I actually I know some folks that go there. Andre and
And
his friends.
that made me be like, well, if he can sell drugs and he can change his life and he can start believing in God and he can preach and he was just real. Like going to that church, it was real. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't no fake guy
Uh huh.
portraying that he had a perfect life growing up. He did
Nah.
all this. This was a man, was Pastor Moss. That's his name. He is amazing. He would talk real. Church would be real. Like
Keep it
he
real.
wouldn't just talk like, oh, I'm gonna read straight from the Bible. He would use his life experiences and what he went on and how he found God, and it just made me be like, okay, well, if these guys can go through all this and God still got them, why wouldn't God have me? And
Right. Yeah, right.
And in my head, I'm like, I haven't done half the things they done, so I should be pretty good.
Oh man, isn't that? And that's why being a man of the cloth. It says by the blood of the lamb and the word of your testimony. So I believe in testifying, not over, not ever glorifying the past, and not ever overinflating what you've been through. But I do believe in and that's why I say everybody has a story, and someone needs to hear yours because I often say the most strength I've ever had in my life, and I like to consider myself a pretty strong dude, is emotional strength, and not even the physical strength that we possess. Right, it was emotional strength, and one of the most emotionally strong I've ever been was right now when I'm vulnerable, and you being vulnerable right in this moment, and just displaying your heart and your thoughts and what you were going through. So I just want to encourage, because again I know men were taught to shelf that, put that away, don't talk about that, be a man, toughen up, man up. uh, but what we're seeing in society and this is all statistical at this point, is that so many men are suffering. And so I love all people, right? But I don't know what a woman deals with. I'm not a woman, thank God, and I don't have a gender problem or an identity issue. I love people that may have a mistaken identity issue. They may be facing some demons of their own. I love people, but I don't have one of those, and I'm a man. So this is just a call to the men: keep it real, keep it raw. Don't be afraid to express yourself, because what I've learned in my own life is you build up and you bottle things up, right? And we're taught don't talk about that. Well, why? That hurt me. So why am I not going to speak to someone that I feel comfortable with about a situation that I may not know how to get guidance through? So men, don't be afraid to talk to someone, a friend, a therapist, um, therapy, things of that nature, a pastor, somebody right, that you can use as a confidant. Don't be afraid to do so, because that is where your strength is going to come from, that you can now then take and help someone else with what you've been through once you learn how to process. And we don't learn how to, at least I shouldn't say we because that's a generalized statement, but I know I didn't learn how to process emotions, right? It was deal with it, put it away, don't talk about it, put it over there. So that's just deal with the emotions. Talk to somebody, y'all. For real, for real.
I'd like to piggyback off that real
Please
quick.
do, please.
So I grew up in a household where it was what happens in this house stays in this house,
Yep.
and I used to think that was the way of life. Like, okay, whatever business I have in my house stays in my
Uh huh.
house. And also, like you said, you're a man. You don't talk to nobody. You don't tell nobody your problems. You got to be strong.
Yeah.
And when I had my son, I tried to make him be like that at first,
Right.
until my kid's mother told me, like, you don't. He's just because he's a boy doesn't mean he can't cry. He can't hurt
Yes.
himself. He has to be strong. And lucky for me, she eventually convinced me to go to a therapist, because I thought we keep it real, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
it 100%
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
That was white people stuff. Going to a therapist and seeing people was that's what we learned from being in the black community.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
white people did.
Yeah.
Black people did not go to therapists. We did not see them.
Minorities.
So
Period.
I would think when she told me to go see a counselor, I'm like, I'm not doing that white people stuff. Like,
No.
I'm not doing it.
No. No.
I'm
What do you
not doing it at
mean?
all. But eventually she convinced me, and it was the best thing I've ever done in my life, was able to talk to somebody who didn't judge me
They were unbiased. They didn't know you.
and actually told me, which is going to kind of make me cry emotional, is she told me everything that I went through, that I should have been on drugs. I should have been an alcoholic. I should have been an abuser. And for you not to do that, you should be proud of yourself.
Amen.
And to hear someone tell me I should be proud of myself, because I always wanted my parents to tell me they were proud of me. And I never got that. So to hear someone
Whew.
tell me who doesn't know me and hears my story, is not judging me, and to tell me you should be proud. You didn't do these things. You could have turned to these things, and you didn't turn to these things. So that therapy is very great. You just got to find a therapist that fits you.
And what are they doing? Like open mic nights?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've said this for years. Is because I tried therapy, right? My lifestyle, what I was battling, I said I need somebody to try to help me figure this out, because I obviously ain't doing it right. Um, and I had to try a couple therapists. And when I did, it was like you said, just having that person that, in mine, I kind of knew him um, from another from church. Um, but it was nice just to have that person, right, that didn't judge, that was just open to receive what you had to say and hear your heart out and help walk you through those. So, again, that's just a double confirmation from y'all. Um, get man, it's okay. There's a stigma that's behind seeing a therapist. And do you see a mechanic to get your car maintenance?
Yep.
Yes, you do. I mean, you could be like me right now and wait till it breaks down, right? But if you want to upkeep your car, you got to maintenance it. You want to upkeep your body, right? You got to eat right. You got to try to get a workout in. Same thing with your mind. You got to maintenance it. And so having that person to be able to bounce those unbiased, or to be able to bounce your thoughts, your hearts, your feelings off of, and then have an unbiased opinion, I strongly encourage it. You heard DJ Shrek, the man himself, say it. Don't be afraid. Jump into it. See if there's some things that's where your real manhood is figuring out where you heard it from him, and I know I can attest to it, is what you need to fix in your life so you don't put these things onto your children, so you can be um, the best version of yourself, right? So I encourage that. So obviously we've learned that faith, played a purpose in your life, and you've had your pastor and your friend Greg that have helped realign you with what your purpose was. Um, Now I know. So we touched base on it. You were wayward. You were in and out trying to find your path and your purpose. At what age did you come? What age did you lose your leg? Because I know.
6 years ago.
Okay, so you're 43. So at 37.
Yep.
Okay. Um, and in that time, where was your relationship with God? Where was your relationship with those people that you hold dear to your heart? Greg and Pastor Moss. You said
Yeah, Pastor Moss.
Pastor Moss. Shout out to Pastor Moss.
It was good at the time. Like I was good. Everything was going good in my life. I was at that time. Everything was going good. I had a good career. I was a behavioral health tech and a counselor. So I was working at
Oh man,
I was working at the CRC. So I got to help people.
amen. I didn't
So
even know that.
yeah, during that time I was a behavioral health tech and I was a counselor. So I would help people at the CRC. So I got
Going
to
through their
see,
own life situations.
and I worked in the kids unit
Oh,
because
cool.
I love kids and I love working with kids. I love helping kids because the kids who went through that trauma and I know what they went through because I went through it. I want to let them know that there's people that care, that you don't have to become what your parents were.
Right?
So that was like the best thing, and it kind of sucks that I lost my leg because I couldn't work in that field no more,
A living testament at the.
and it sucks. But it was the best time of my life because I was able to help people, and I was able to help kids, and all these kids really wanted was someone to care.
To listen and to care.
That's
Right?
all they really wanted. And but I heard some of the most horrifying stories in my life going through this. So it
Oh,
made me really appreciate my kids and really appreciate life because of the stuff I heard, the
right.
stuff I seen, the stuff people were going through.
Oh,
It was
traumatic
traumatic.
in itself, just to have to sit space with someone and hear some of these egregious things that some of these children are going through.
And some of the stuff like parents would do to the kids,
That's yeah.
I would be like, I would never in my life do that to my kid.
Mm-mm.
And it just made me appreciate life a little bit more.
Amen. I mean, that's as it kind of gives you a reflection, right? To look back and say, God, just thank you that my kids aren't going through what this child is, and hoping that child can find.
And you realize that what you thought you had a bad life is not really that bad.
And that brings me to a point. I was just gonna say it, and then you said that, and it brings me back to it. Is although, and I want this to go to everybody because I've learned this, and I want to pass this on to others. Is although your situation may not be as bad as other situations you've heard about or you've seen or you've come encounter with, it's still your situation. And so many times we're taught, well, minimize your own pains, hurts, and traumas because it's not as bad as so and so over there. They were getting molested, or they were getting, you know, beat to being put in the hospital, or malnourished, or whatever the case is. But it's still yours. It's your pain. It's your trauma, right? Mine is mine, and it's not for us to compare it to others because then what we do in our minds, our subconscious will start to minimize those things. Well, it's not that bad that I was getting beat by my father or my mother and my dad. I'm sure Pops whooped you, right? If he was whooping Mom, I'm sure he whooped everybody in the house at times. Um, so it's one of those ways not to minimize. And I've learned this is our own traumas and our own pains. Just because yes, other people have had it quote unquote worse, but yours is still yours. So that goes to you and to all the viewers. Your trauma, your pain is yours, right? And I encourage you to start navigating those areas of trauma in your life and those times of hardship, so that way you can heal through them. Because life is that's why it's called Redemption Road or Life's Healing Journey. Because life is a healing journey. It never stops. I mean, we're always, the world hurts and life hurts and we're attacked. So we're constantly having to learn how to heal in a new way from a new hurt, whether it's business decisions, marital decisions, parental decisions, whenever, no matter what it is, we're always going to be healing from something. So I know that, okay, so you lost your leg at 37 and it was, I know you've mentioned to me before, but I want the viewers to know because a lot of folks, I have folks, I've had my leg gone for 20 years last year. And last year in November was my 20th anniversary of losing my leg. And I still have folks that have known me for a while and don't know. So what was yours? So they can, I know I joke around and I tell kids, I've had kids that I cut their hair 15 years ago that I told them it was a shark bite.
That's what I tell kids.
And
I
they
tell the
see me
same
in the
thing.
streets. Bro, I was just telling one of my clients for real estate yesterday. That's a quick little shameless plug. If you're looking for a realtor in the Arizona area, I'm your boy. If you're looking for a DJ, a caterer, I'll tell you this dude's food is incredible. When I tell him that here soon, when I have my own big home and my families can all come to my house, he's cooking Thanksgiving dinner because I had this dude's Thanksgiving because we go out and feed the unhoused. And Lord, I had to pray and repent because I was like, I just want to eat all this turkey. Like it was a smoked turkey. I can't tell y'all how that stuff just crumbled in your mouth. And yeah, I had to repent and say, Lord, I can't take all this turkey home for myself. I'm being gluttonous, but it was so dang good. So yeah, his food is amazing, y'all. His DJ skills are impeccable. He's got the lights, the smoke machines, the vibe. He's a whole vibe in himself. So be sure to look him up, you guys. That is my shameless plug, and I will throw it out there because y'all need to know. We have some services to offer you other than just this time sitting here with us, which we do thank y'all for. So what was the experience, and what were your thoughts? Explain to the people your injury, and what led to the amputation of your leg.
Well, okay.
Be
So
prepared to be shocked, y'all.
so what happened was I was in Vegas.
Oh man,
In
and not
Vegas
what happened. Not everything that happens in Vegas stays
stays
in
in
Vegas.
Vegas. That is true. And I cut the bottom of my foot. And my dumb thinking was, you know what? It started swelling up. I was like, let me get in jacuzzi because the jacuzzi is going to massage it and it'll bring it down. The doctor told me that was the worst thing I ever could have done because I was speeding up the process of the MRSA because I was just cooking it. So I had to go to the hospital in Vegas because it was like an elephant's foot. It was so swollen, and they said there's nothing they could do for me because it's gonna take time, and I need to go to my doctor. So I had to drive all the way back instead of flying because I was in so much pain, and it was too hard to walk through the airport and everything. So I had to drive back to Tucson, and I had to see my doctor, and then that's when they told me I have MRSA. But the good part was they were like, it can go away. But I have diabetes. And it's on the bottom of my foot. And how am I going to stop working? So technically, I could have saved my foot. Not going to lie. But who's going to take care of me? I still had to go to work. I still had to do things. The doctor's like, if you could just stay a couple months off your foot because you're a big guy, you put a lot of weight on it, because I would go to the doctor, it would close up, but it would open back up, and the flesh eating, because MRSA flesh eating would keep eating, and eventually it got into the bones. Then it got into the bloodstream. So
Uh,
then that's when they were like, look,
you're gonna die.
you either cut your leg off or you die.
Yep.
And that was an easy choice. I was like, you can take the leg because I still want to live.
Yeah. Right. I know that's right.
But I would say it was the worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life was getting my leg cut off because they had to do it in sections
Yep.
because they had to catch the MRSA. So
They didn't want to cut too far.
first it was the toes, then it was half the foot, then it was all the foot, then it was half the leg, then it was all the way up to well I'm below, and that's the final. So I was literally in the hospital every single week after they would do the cultures. It would come back. Okay, we still have more.
Mercy.
So every single week I would get a new. I'd have to go into surgery, and surgery, and surgery. It went on for a month straight. That every single week I would be getting a surgery on my leg. And then they would have to come in and clean it, and that was the worst pain because they have to take the dressings off.
I know it. I know it.
And there's nothing.
I'm not laughing, bro, but there's not many people, right, that could sit in a room with you and tell you they know your pain.
Like I don't understand.
I can. I can tell you I know it.
It was just the most. I would cuss the doctors out.
Oh man, I'm
'cause
not
it was just
laughing, y'all.
so
I'm just relating.
painful.
I'm just relating because people don't. For me, it's comforting sometimes, right? I have an uncle with one leg, and sometimes it's just comforting talking to someone, which is why I tell people somebody needs to hear your story, right? Because you know my pain. You know, for the most part, you don't know my pain, but you know similar pain because we have the same injury, right? So it's just sometimes it's just comforting to know, like, man, I'm not alone. So for those of you who think you're alone and you're experiencing certain pains or certain trials or traumas alone, you are not alone. It just so happens to be of the thousands and thousands of people I know, I have a homie that has one leg, and that we're so much alike in so many ways. It's awesome, but man, it just felt good to know that somebody else has felt my pain. So you were surgery after surgery after surgery. I've been there. What kept you focused and kept you? Was there a time where you were like, "Dang, I don't know what I'm gonna do now"? And
Well, okay, so there was a time where I thought this is gonna sound selfish. I was like, no woman's gonna want me.
right,
I got one leg. What woman's gonna want a man one leg? I was just thinking about girls. That was the first thing
you
in my
were.
head was like, dang, I'm not gonna get a girl no more. Like I'm gonna be one legged and be single for the rest of my life.
Isn't it
So
crazy how that goes? I was
that was my
18 when I
thoughts.
lost mine, so I thought the same thing at one time. I went to my pops and I was like, "Hey," even though I had a high school girlfriend that I was with at the time, I told my dad, like, really is. And the one thing I had was an uncle my whole life who had one leg, and he's like the shout out to my uncle Bud. He's the coolest dude in the world. Um, he was always like a superhero to us in a way because the dude had one leg and he did everything: water skied, jet skied, hiked, went, he did everything. Um, but I went to my dad one time and I told him that, like, how was a woman or how was a child gonna want a dad with one leg, right? And that's just, I rebuked that. Right? That's just the enemy because you have a beautiful wife now. Shout out to Hilda. I don't know how she puts up with you, honestly. There's times I'm like, man, I just gotta lay hands and pray for Hilda because she has to deal with this crazy dude right here, right? I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Sorry, not playing. Hilda, you're awesome. I love Hilda's. They're cool people, man. And we just hung out this weekend and went to laughs. And this is a man that I truly I admire. My hat's off to him. His work in the community, his work for those that he cares about, is bar none. And I see it. I'm not just someone on the sidelines. Like we're in the trenches on a lot of these things together. The dude's sitting up on top of a I don't know whose idea it was. He's crazy, you guys. You have to
I
know.
don't know whose idea it was.
You have to know this dude is somewhat outside of his gourd sometimes, and he's like, man, I'm gonna go on top of the trailer instead of. Am I projecting right now?
Yeah, because it sure was not me.
We put him on top of a 15-foot trailer that we had a car show at. You know, he's just always willing to jump in and dive in. So I admire, I respect, I acknowledge the man for who he is, and I'm just glad that not only did I myself learned some things about you today, which is super dope, and I love the ability to be able to have that, little bit of insight and knowledge into your life, because it just helps us. Iron sharpens iron, right? And then that's how we move through life. But it's gonna help somebody. I know it is. It's gonna help somebody that's facing either similar traumas or battles, or just the uncertainty of life, or someone who's been through exactly, some of the similar things you have, whether it's been an amputation or a crazy life altering surgeries, or diagnosis, that you had resilience. Because I know personally, through losing your leg, it takes a fighting spirit, it takes a resilient spirit. What kept you with that resilience? Was it your faith? Was it your relationships with friends and family? Like who and what?
I would say it was my kids because they saw me as Superman.
Uh huh.
So when I lost my leg, I didn't want them to not think I was Superman still. So I went to rehab and I graduated early because I pushed myself so hard because I wanted my kids to not know that I wasn't Superman no
Uh
more.
huh.
So I pushed myself, and that's what I was like. I'm not gonna let them think that, oh, now my dad's leg is gone. He's not gonna be the same. He's not gonna be able to do stuff. So that's why, like, people to this day will tell me, like, I didn't know you didn't have a leg. Because during the wintertime, we wear jeans and
Yeah, yeah,
everything
yeah,
all the
yeah,
time. I'm
yeah.
always in pants. During the summertime is when I'm wearing shorts, and people are like, "What happened to your leg? I didn't know you. I
Yeah.
didn't know you.
When did that
When
happen?
did
I'm all yesterday. You didn't know?
which is a testimony to show how good we're doing.
Right. Amen. Amen.
That's a testimony to show that at least you people see that I'm semi-normal
Right.
because you think I'm normal, and then when you see my leg, you're like, I didn't know.
It's not even that we're not normal, because to me it's like we're we're extraordinary, right? I put on that, like, you know what, because most folks, the population of amputees is far smaller than the population of people with two legs, right? They don't they don't know what it takes just for day to day activities, to get in the shower with one leg,
To
to
get
stand,
out of bed.
to get out of bed. I tell people all the time, I get out of bed and I post this metal leg on. Like, it takes 50 to 75% more energy for me to do anything. Putting on my shoes, walking to the curb, anything you do, it takes me almost half to 75% of the energy it takes you. So I know what it takes, and I commend you for sometimes I'm like, dude, what the heck's this guy doing climbing on top of that trailer? But anything you can do, I can do better, right? What's that whole commercial? Right? I always tell people, like, don't count your boy out. I still got this. Oh, so that's just a testament to your resilience, and the kids help push you to make you a better man, right?
They
Day
sure
in and
did.
day out, and God bless them for that. And they might not even know. They might know. One day you could have already told them, or they might find out by hearing this or reading your book one day or whatever it is, that they're like, oh, we were the reason for Dad to keep fighting on. So we gotta love them kids, right? So I want to real quick, before we jump off and continue on with our lives, because we do have those, right? I know you've got a very busy life.
Yes.
If you could speak to a young man or a young woman that is going to watch this and happens to see, man, I go through these same types of situations. I see this chaos and this toxicity in my home, and I just don't know if there's a way out. What would you tell them?
I would say that don't give up and don't think that you cannot make it. You can always have a better life. It depends on how much you want it. You have to push for a better life. You can't see your life is horrible right now and just stay stuck.
Uh,
You got to
yeah.
move yourself forward. You got to be like, I don't want to be here no more. I don't want to be in this situation. I don't want to be stuck. Because if you just give up, your life is never going to change and it's going to be in the same situation. But if you tell yourself, not going to let him, and I'm just saying in general, I'm not going to
Yeah.
let this person put their hands on me. I'm not going to be in this house. I'm not going to be around this violence. I don't want to be like this. You have to tell yourself that, hey, I'm going to be better than this. I deserve better.
Amen. Amen. man, that's one of them points I try to tell people is because we all deserve healing, right? And in deserving healing, you got to deserve better in the steps to healing and walking that out. And part of that is removing yourself from the situations that you need to remove yourself from, and from the people. Let's keep it real. You got to change people, places, and things a lot of the times if you want a better life. If you want nothing changes if nothing changes, right?
And I like to say, because I have to give a shout out. I'm not gonna not shout her out. Hilda, my wife, saved me.
Yeah, she did, boy.
You have to find somebody that you can be best friends with.
Yeah,
Someone that you can talk to. Someone that doesn't judge you.
right.
Like my relationship with her is she's my best friend. I
Not
can tell her everything. She doesn't judge me.
right,
She has such a big heart, and I'm glad that I found her. I had to go through hell,
right, right.
but now I'm on the opposite side of my life. I'm getting
Yes.
towards the end of my life. You know what I'm saying? I did everything. I'm getting towards the end. I'm 40 now. I got 50, 60. Who knows?
Yeah, right,
But I get to spend it traveling. I get to spend it enjoying life now because I went through all that hardship.
right.
So now I get to enjoy it. So I just want to tell people, find somebody that can be your best friend,
Yeah,
that doesn't judge you and that wants to see you do better.
right. And sometimes it takes building that, right? And being willing to invest in that other person and into your relationship. So I also, I have my beautiful wife who has come alongside and done so many things, and I'm like, what the heck? She's she's really riding with me into the desert at 114 degrees right now, like for 4 hours to feed the unhoused. Like, so it's finding that compatible partner, right? And not all need it. I believe we were created for companionship. I don't believe man was created to be by himself or woman was created to be by herself.
Well, if you believe in the Bible, Adam and Eve.
Right, right. And so therefore we need to procreate. We need to continue life, right? So find that person. I second that, and I'll shout out my wife Christy and awesome Hilda. She's, like I said, she's the reason I hang out with Shrek. She's cool. You know what I mean? No, but I love them. They're awesome people. You guys, please make sure that you go out and check out their businesses. They have Andre's 5 Star Catering. They have DJ Shrek. They also do event planning in the sense of they will totally deck out your quinceañera hall, your wedding venue. They do it all, So if y'all want to have a good time and you want to do it for not like these other people killing their budget. They're not out here trying to wax you to the point where you can't have a fun event. They're trying to make it reasonable. So be sure to look them up. We will put a link tree with their different socials and websites or whatnot into the comments when we release this. And I just want to ask you my last question, or my last series. I'm going to make it a series. What does redemption mean to you personally? Because I believe there's a reason my life is redeemed. Um, so what does redemption mean to you personally? And if you could just leave the audience, everybody watching, with one message, what would it be?
Redemption to me is that after losing my leg, I didn't give up.
Amen.
Because everybody says, and even to this day, my dad says, if I lost my leg, I couldn't do it. And to hear my dad say that he couldn't do it
Right.
makes me feel good to know that, hey, and a lot of people tell me all the time,
I hear
I
it.
can't believe how you're doing. Like, how are you going here? How are you doing this? How are you doing that? And that makes me feel good to know that, hey, I could have gave up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could have ended my life.
Yeah.
Because there was times I wanted
You
to.
thought about it, boy.
I
I
thought
did.
about it.
Uh-huh.
But I kept going.
Amen.
And
Persevere.
to this day, and there's a lot of people who went through what I was going through or might have lost their leg, and they came to me and they asked me for advice. They asked me how I did it, how did I survive, how do I keep going. And it's nice to be able to tell them, like, hey, you can still make it.
You can do it.
Look at me.
Amen.
I'm still going.
I know that's right. I know, and I know that's why God teamed us up. I know that we're a lot alike in that same that realm of being encouraging to others, and just trying to uplift others, and I encourage y'all to be uplifting. I'll say it. I've said it on one of the episodes prior, and I'll say it again. It doesn't cost you anything to encourage somebody. It doesn't cost you anything to be a supporter. Andre tags me, I don't know how many times a week, for someone that's looking for a realtor in Tucson or surrounding areas. It doesn't cost him any money to tag my name. It doesn't cost me any money to tag his name when I see people looking for an event, for DJ or for catering, or when my father says, "Hey, I need somebody to do my party." Well, you know what? Let me throw out my boy's name. It doesn't cost us any money to not only encourage the folks that we know in our circle, but also just encourage a stranger. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't take maybe a couple seconds out of your day to tell somebody, "Hey, you see somebody struggling or has that down look, or just that aura of things are going bad." It doesn't cost you anything to encourage them. And I know Dre does it all the time. I see it. I know this man personally, so I see it and I'm there. So he encourages y'all to keep going, to keep fighting, because that's what kept him going, was just the willingness to fight. And I tell y'all, I know from personal experience, it takes a strong fortitude to continue to fight on through such a devastating, life changing injury as being an amputee and losing your leg. So that's just a testament to your life, and just the things you've been to is just more testament. And this episode is proof that your pain does not have to become your identity. Like your story, Andre, reminds us that even through the trauma, the homelessness, the addiction around you, the loss, that redemption is still possible. And he just told y'all how his recipe, right, was his children, was continuing to want to be that Superman, because I looked at my father as Superman, and hopefully, I don't know what your relationship is with your father now, but at one point in your childhood, you looked at him as Superman, right? He was untouchable. He was so big and so strong and so smart, and just so continuing to be that Superman for your children, right, was one of those things that kept pushing you. And I know that feeling. So I want to commend you once again, and tell you that I honor and respect you for how you've persevered and what you've persevered through. And if nobody's told you that they're proud of you, I'm telling you from my heart to yours, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud to call you my friend, my partner. We partner up on a lot of things throughout the year, and you've never once have you not been there. And so my heart to you and yours, bro. I love you guys. Hilda is awesome. I pray blessings over you and your children, your guys' business ventures. Again, I will tell y'all again, check them out. Support locally. Support those that you see. Really support the community. Andre's out there with me when it's 115 degrees and we're giving out backpacks and we're cutting hair or we're feeding the unhoused. He's there. So support him. Let him, support him so he can continue to support nonprofits. He's always out doing something with somebody. I see it. Go follow him. And I just really encourage y'all to take a piece of what he had to say today and hold it near and dear to you, and figure out how you can apply that puzzle piece into your own life to help restore and bring healing upon those areas of your life that need it. Because ultimately, as you heard him say, he deserved it. You deserve it. I deserve it. We all deserve to heal from those things, and find a person, find a confidant, as he said. It doesn't have to be your spouse. It could be your best friend if you're unmarried, but find somebody that you can go to and that you can voice your opinion to. Find somebody, a therapist, like we said, that's unbiased, that does not care necessarily about who or what your life is. They just want to be that person to sit space with you. Find somebody and start talking to them. I encourage it. Andre encouraged it. And I just want to thank y'all. I thank Andre again. I know I said it, but I'll say it again. Thank you, bro, for coming on and just sitting in this space with me, and opening up and revealing some of those areas of your life, so that way somebody else can hear this and say, you know what, if he did it, or if his life has been a struggle and he was able to figure it out, then I can do it. Because I know there was people in my life that I was like, well, like you said, Pastor Moss, for you, I know there was Pastor Scotty in my life, and other pastors and other friends that I'm like, man, if they can do it, then I can do it too. So thank you for sharing your heart, bro. Thank you for taking this time and being vulnerable. It means a lot to me. Anything you have to say to the guests before we sign out?
Yes. My biggest thing in life now is if you can help somebody, help somebody. Even if it's just you have old clothes, taking it to the homeless. Even if you see someone on the corner who's hungry, go inside the store and buy them something to eat. Buy them a drink or something.
Right?
Even a dollar to them is $1 million. So if you can help, help. My biggest thing nowadays is I try to help as many people as I can. I try to give back as much as I can because God will bless you 10 times full for you helping other people. So help other people when you can.
Amen. And I second that. Yeah, he said it best right there. It's a mic drop. Help somebody. If you can help somebody, man, help them. It doesn't take much, right, to be a good human. And just I don't care what your faith is. I don't care what your beliefs are. I don't care what your spiritual background is. If you're a human being, period, help another human being.
Oh, one more thing. Don't judge because you don't know what their situation is and you don't know what they went through. So if you see a homeless person, don't judge because like why are they out here? Why aren't they got a job? You don't know if it's a mental issue, if it was child issues. You don't know. So don't judge.
Man, that's so good because it's not up to us to judge, right? We will be as you judged, as you judge, so shall you be judged, and with what measure will be the measure poured back on you. That's the good book, right?
Yep.
Don't judge people because we don't know. All right, y'all. We thank y'all. I thank y'all. I know Andre thanks y'all for being here today and sitting this time with us. It's just a reminder that everyone has a story and someone needs to hear yours. We thank y'all again for being here. This is Redemption Road, a life's healing journey. Real stories, real pain, real healing, and a whole lot of redemption. We thank y'all. Have a wonderful day.
Peace.